Whales filmed trapping their prey with a rather dubious technique, someone filming a cheetah mewing like a cat, or the glass gem, a mysterious variety of corn with rainbow colors. You think you've seen everything in life, but here are some things you'll see for the first time here in this video. Here we go! If we say Madagascar, what do you think of? You will surely think of its paradisiacal beaches, vanilla, baobabs. That's good, you have some culture. On the other hand, there is a corner of the country that you have never seen before. The Tsingy of Behamra, or so to say, the place that you cross on tiptoe. A gigantic mineral labyrinth consisting of 157,000 hectares of rocks sharpened like knives. A marvelous and breathtaking limestone scenery essentially sculpted by the monsoons which frequently occur in the country, and which give the landscape a jagged aspect unique in the world. This place has the particularity to shelter a multitude of different ecosystems, offering habitats to the different animal species of the island. For example, it is a place very frequented by lemurs, which find there the perfect refugee. You can also find the Bruchisia perarmata, a type of chameleon, very small or other endemic species, and 300 plant species which have found in the nature reserve occupied by a large forest cover of over 85,000 hectares and a savanna, a real paradise on earth. If you go there, it is the vertigo assured. The Tsingy are the object of myths and cults for the local Malagasy population because of their very particular and intriguing geological formation. The site, classified since 1927 and is registered since 1990 in the list of the World Heritage of the UNESCO, is today a flagship tourist place to visit. To facilitate access to this place, cable bridges have been installed. But despite this, if you decide to go there to explore the place, arm yourself with a lot of courage, because even if it is very beautiful and impressive, it is also very frightening. If you see a shark with your own eyes, you will be extremely terrified and stressed. Well, sharks are stressed too, but they don't react like you. They won't break out in a cold sweat, bite their fingernails, or have a good cry. They will simply puke their guts out. Yes, you heard me right. Despite their reputation of being big eaters and devouring everything that passes under their fins, when they find themselves in a stressful situation, such as being trapped in a fishing net or being chased by a predator, it is very likely that they will vomit their last meal, and even their stomachs with it. According to a scientist in Miami, this natural and instinctive reaction comes from the fact that it is easier for them to run away on an empty stomach. The sharks therefore get rid of what they have in their guts to flee as quickly as possible. This phenomenon is called gastric eversion, a phenomenon that is not without danger, since it can lead to death if it occurs out of the water. Because without the movement of water and swimming, the shark cannot swallow its stomach. Yes, you can imagine that it swallows it afterwards because it needs it. Sharks are not the only ones to do this in the animal kingdom. Snake and dolphins also have this ability to spit out their entrails and then swallow them after having experienced a stressful situation. Apart from stress, this natural process allows sharks to empty and clean their guts from time to time of parasites and indigestible food that they accidentally swallow. You meet a friend by chance in the street, and after talking with her for a long time, you notice that around her neck hangs a gold chain with a tiny bunch of purple grapes. You are intrigued and can't help but interrupt her to satisfy your curiosity and ask her why grapes are hanging around her neck as a pendant. Is this a new fashion? Are they there in case you get hungry? You really want to know. His answer surprises you. They are not real grapes, but Agathe grape, a gemstone also known as biotroidal chalcedony. It is a variety of chalcedony made of quartz crystallites in the shape of small joint balls, strangely reminiscent of a bunch of grapes. On the other hand, analysis prove that despite its name, this stone is not really an agate. It can be found in purple color, but also in white, gray, green, or blue. Grape agate is often found on the beach of Manakara on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. It is formed in cushion lava composed of andesite, and thanks to the space left between these cushions, the stone takes shape. The tectonics between the plates then take care of bringing up the andesite in the mountains of Sulawesi. You must have already seen whales coming out and jumping out of the water. It is a breathtaking sight. However, what you have never seen before is the strange choreography they do in the water when they are hungry and want to eat. As you can see in this live footage taking off the coast of Alaska, on Baranof Island, humpback whales were filmed with the help of drones, trapping prey and directing it towards their grabbing mouths, using a rather curious technique. These animals use their fins to form bubble traps, very ingenious for cetaceans. The technique is called pectoral herding. It is sophisticated but also very simple when you think about it. It consists in making a kind of rotation with their long pectoral fins before jumping to the surface of the water with their mouth open and surrounded by numerous circles of bubbles. And it is in this movement that all the dexterity of the technique resides, which allows the cetacean to create under the surface a kind of net of bubbles, then to turn on itself with its pectoral fins stretched out, in order to create a physical barrier which prevents the prey from escaping. After that, the whale guides its victims towards its gaping mouth to swallow them, and that's it. When we say felines, you think of those big wild animals that when they roar, shake the heavens and the earth. You may be right. But not for all felines. There are some felines that would seem to scare away any rational human being. But when they open their mouths and you expect a ferocious roar, a small and ridiculous meow escapes from it. These felines are none other than cheetahs. Indeed, the cheetah mews like a cat, which makes it less ferocious. For example, in Namibia, a person filmed a cheetah mewing. It's funny, but at the same time so cute. Small question. When this bulldozer shook this tree, what do you think is this big cloud of dust that escaped? Can't you guess? Then take a good look. These images were recorded in New Jersey, where pollen floods the forests. This bulldozer hit this tree, and the tree was so full of pollen that when it was shaken, a big cloud of pollen came out of it. It was so thick that it took the shape of the tree. A very amazing sight. Oops, sorry. You know many kinds of sharks. White sharks, hammerheads, whale sharks, tiger sharks, but there is one kind of shark you certainly don't know. In fact, today is the first time you will see it in your life. It is the Greenland shark, a species of shark that lives at a depth of 200 to 300 meters in the oceans. It is one of the largest carnivorous sharks in the world, along with its cousin the white shark, but also one of the largest fish in the Arctic. And certainly the only shark in the polar waters of the North Atlantic. If it is impressive, it is not because of its ferocity, but rather because of its look of a large stone aged and damaged by time. It measures between 2.5 to 4.5 meters in length and can even reach 7.3 meters. And if I said aged, it is because I am weighting my words well. This species of shark can live up to 400 years. To calculate a fish's age, scientists count the layers of growth in the ear stones, which are calcium carbonate nodules found in their ears. But cartilaginous fish, such as sharks and rays, which have a skeleton made of cartilage instead of bone, do not have these stones. So scientists proceed by taking samples of crystalline proteins from the shark's eyelids. These proteins are formed at the embryonic stage and remain the same throughout the life of the animal. They are then radiocarbon dated to approximate their age. The two largest Greenland sharks found were 493 centimeters and 402 centimeters long and would be between 335 and 412 years old. The image you're about to see is absolutely incredible. In a forest, a tree has fallen, something that can happen frequently, either because of a violent storm or an earthquake. But by falling to the ground, this tree has allowed 4 other trees to grow in its trunk over time, a phenomenon never seen before. However, do not ask me to give you a scientific explanation. Nature is sometimes very surprising. You have already eaten corn directly from the cob. It is a delicacy that we love to eat, especially in North African countries. But for you, corn is yellow. Then look at this picture, you will be amazed. It has been circulating for some time on the net, and contrary to what you think, it is not a trick and it is not a treated or modified product. It is the glass gem, a mysterious variety of corn with rainbow colors. According to a video published by Mother Earth News, the father of this variety would be a certain Carl Barnes, a descendant of Cherokee, a farmer from Oklahoma who would have wanted to grow corn in the late 1980s in order to get a little closer to his origins. So he crossed 3 varieties of corn to create the rainbow corn. In 1994, this farmer met Greg Schoen, another farmer with whom he collaborated and to whom he passed on all his knowledge as well as some of the seeds of his creation. A decade later, Schoen took over and began growing the glass gem, this time on a large scale. Today, North American farmers can do the same by purchasing the seed in packages of 50 for 4.60 euros. And if you're wondering, the answer is no, it's popcorn, it's not multicolored. Imagine yourself in this situation. You fall in love with a very nice bamboo armchair in a furniture and decoration store. You buy it, in spite of its outrageous price, but since it's a crush, it doesn't matter. You'll use your vacation budget. And what really encouraged you to buy it is that the salesman guaranteed that it was made with real natural and untreated bamboo. You find out a few months later that he wasn't lying about that, because one day when you go out on your porch where you placed your chair, you find that it has started to bud. In fact, the humidity caused the bamboo to restart its growth process and start budding as if it were a potted plant. It's sure that it doesn't happen every day. You are walking in the Twycross Zoo in Atherstone, England, and you stop in front of the primate enclosure. And there, 2 individuals attract your attention. They are so intriguing that you are struck by the sight. You have the impression that they have nothing to do with monkeys except their walk and their mouth, for the body of these 2 specimens is as smooth as yours. You are very shaken at the sight of this amazing spectacle. In fact, they are 2 chimpanzee brothers living in the zoo and suffering from alopecia, a pathology that designates the acceleration of hair loss, a bit like what your Uncle Gustav has. It is the equivalent of baldness in humans, except that in chimpanzees, this disease affects the entire body, so they have no hair, and thus they are even closer to human aspect. The advantage is that this disease has revealed their impressive musculature, which normally does not appear under the hair. Now, tell us in the comments what you think of these unusual things that you see for the first time. And don't forget to subscribe and click here to watch another of our videos.